Alright Wrexham fans, if you love the Red Dragons like I do, smash that subscribe button right now and let's dive into this one. Because what happened at the Racecourse on Monday night, it's left every single one of us with the same gut-wrenching feeling. Here's what you need to know. Wrexham drew 1-1 with Leicester City. Lewis O'Brien put us ahead in the 63rd minute, a proper finish, the kind that makes you believe. The Racecourse was absolutely buzzing. We were dominating. We were in control. Leicester barely had a sniff at our goal. And then, in the 90th minute, with victory in touching distance, Yannick Vestergaard equalised with literally their only second shot of the entire half. One bloody moment. Phil Parkinson stood in front of the cameras afterwards, and what he said sent a chill through the dressing room. There was a silence at the end, he admitted, his voice heavy with frustration, because everyone knew we deserved the 3 points. That silence, that's what this story is really about. Not just a draw, not just 2 points dropped, but the weight of what could have been, and what still might slip through our fingers if we're not careful. Because with the championship playoff race tighter than a drum right now, those dropped points could come back to haunt us when the season reaches its climax in May. This isn't just about one match, lads. This is about Wrexham's entire trajectory in the championship. This is about whether the Hollywood fairy tale continues its magical rise, or whether we've just discovered our ceiling at this brutal, unforgiving level.
But to understand how we got here, to understand why this draw hurt so much, we need to go back a few days. Before Monday night, Wrexham were absolutely flying. The momentum was building. We'd just knocked Nottingham Forest, a proper Premier League side, out of the FA Cup on penalties. Arthur Okonkwo saved 2 spot kicks like an absolute hero. The Racecourse was rocking. The belief was back in a big way. In the league, we'd put together a 4-match winning streak. Derby County beat them 2-1. Blackburn stuffed them 2-0. We were 9th in the championship table, just 2 points off the playoff places. 2 bloody points from the top 6. For a club that was playing non-league football 3 years ago, that's extraordinary. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's Hollywood dream was becoming reality. From the National League to the Championship in 3 successive promotions, making history as the first team ever to do it in English football's top 5 divisions. Phil Parkinson had built something special. Lewis O'Brien, who'd played Premier League football with Nottingham Forest. Kiefer Moore, the Welsh international striker. Connor Cody, a 2-time championship winner. These weren't League One players trying their luck. These were proper seasoned professionals. But then came Friday night. Norwich City at home. A team battling relegation, sitting 22nd. On paper, our chance to keep momentum rolling. The Racecourse had been a fortress, 10 games unbeaten at home stretching back to September. And we lost. 2-1. Joe Von McCarmer's second half winner ended that run. The atmosphere changed. That invincibility, gone. Parkinson made 6 changes against Norwich, rotation for the gruelling championship schedule, but it backfired. The rhythm was off. Despite Sam Smith's equaliser, we couldn't find the winner. The lads trudged off knowing they'd missed an opportunity. But there was no time to dwell. Leicester City were coming on Monday, former Premier League champions, sitting 12th, but still dangerous. This was Wrexham's chance to respond, to show character. And for 89 minutes and 30 seconds, they did exactly that.
Monday night at the Racecourse ground. Floodlights blazing, the crowds in full voice, that famous Welsh atmosphere. Red Dragons banners waving. This was our territory, our fortress. The first half was tight, a proper championship battle. Leicester, with all their quality, couldn't get a foothold. Wrexham were compact, organised, pressing at the right moments. Matty James, the former Leicester midfielder, was bossing the midfield. The Foxes barely threatened Arthur Okonkwo's goal. Half-time, 0-0. Parkinson's message was clear. keep doing what you're doing. Stay patient. The goal will come. And it did. 63 minutes. Liberato Cacace gets the ball wide left. Fizzes a dangerous low cross into the Leicester box, aiming for Kiefer Moore. Caleb Akoli tries to intercept. The ball deflects awkwardly. Jakob Stolarczyk scrambles, but can't get there. There's Lewis O'Brien, timing his run to perfection. The ball sits up beautifully. He doesn't hesitate. Bang! Rifles it into the net. 1-0 Wrexham. The Racecourse erupts. O'Brien wheels away, arms spread wide. His 4th goal of the season. Not bad for a midfielder. This was his moment. Wrexham's moment. The next 25 minutes, complete control. Professional, doing exactly what playoff contenders should do. But the championship is brutal. One lapse in concentration and it punishes you without mercy. Leicester barely created anything. According to Parkinson, the only thing that troubled Wrexham was a moment of counter-attack in the second half. Their only shot on target before the equaliser was Vestergaard's header. The clock ticks towards 90 minutes. Wrexham managing the game perfectly. The fans are calculating the table. 9th becomes 8th. The playoffs getting closer. Dreams of Wembley, of the Premier League. They're not fantasies anymore. They're real. Then it happens.
A ball swung into the box. Nothing special. But Vestergaard, all 6'6" of him, gets free at the far post. He attacks it. Good contact. The header is firm, low towards the corner. It flies past the Conco. 1-1, 90th minute. The racecourse falls silent. Devastation on the players' faces. They'd controlled the game for 90 minutes, limited Leicester to scraps, and with one lapse, 2 points vanished. Final whistle moments later, no time to respond. Just that brutal, deafening silence. Phil Parkinson's post-match interview said everything. The gaffer doesn't mince words. You take the moment at the end out of it, and I'd be saying it was a very brave and hard-working performance, Parkinson said, his voice tinged with frustration. But the gloss is taken off because we didn't deal with a ball in the box. One ball, one moment. That's the difference between 7th and 9th, between playoff dreams and mid-table obscurity. There was a silence at the end because everyone knew we deserved the 3 points, but sometimes you don't get what you deserve. The dressing room silence. These are professionals who've been through it all. Promotions, relegations, cup runs. But in that moment, they knew. They'd let something slip. Wrexham fans on social media were divided. Some furious about the late equaliser. How do we not see that out? One supporter wrote. The frustration was real. Others were philosophical. We're 9th in the championship, lads. 3 years ago we were playing Torquay in the National League. Perspective matters.
The local media, the Leader, BBC Wales, focused on Wrexham's dominance and the cruel nature of that late goal. Wrexham have outplayed Leicester but couldn't finish the job. But here's what nobody was talking about. The bigger picture. Despite the frustration, Wrexham are 9th, 2 points off the playoffs in their first ever season at this level. The draw moved Wrexham to 9th in the championship. Despite dropping 2 points, they actually climbed a position. That's how tight this league is. 1 point can shift you 3 or 4 places. They're 2 points off the playoffs with half the season still to play. Everything to fight for. But here's the catch. In the championship, consistency is absolutely everything. You can't afford to drop points at home to teams you've dominated. Not if you want to stay in that top 6 conversation when the business end of the season arrives. Parkinson knows this better than anyone. He's been in the championship before, with Bradford, Bolton, Charlton. He's seen how quickly things can unravel. A draw here, a narrow defeat there, and suddenly you're looking up at the playoffs instead of being in them. The margins are that fine. Compare this to Wrexham's incredible journey over the past few years. 3 promotions in 3 successive seasons. National League champions with 111 points, a record. League 2 champions. League 1 runners-up with a club record 92 points. This is a team that's shown time and time again they know how to win when the pressure's on. But the Championship is different gravy. It's the most competitive second-tier league in the entire world. 24 teams, all desperate for that golden ticket to the Premier League. The money, the prestige, the global stage, it's all just one more step away. And that creates an intensity, a pressure that Wrexham simply haven't experienced before in their recent rise. What happens next? The fixture list doesn't ease up. Every match from now until May is absolutely crucial. String together another winning run like the one before Norwich, and suddenly you're right in the playoff mix. But keep dropping points like this, and those dreams start to fade fast. Reynolds and McElhenney have invested millions into this club, brought in championship quality players, upgraded the facilities. They want Premier League football. That's the end game. But they're also smart enough to know that patience is required at this level.
This is Wrexham's first championship season since 1982. 43 years they waited to get back. Perspective matters. But perspective doesn't win new playoff spots. Points do. And Wrexham are learning the hard way that in a championship, fine margins are everything. 1 ball, 1 lapse, 2 points dropped. Here's the thing about being a Wrexham supporter right now. We are living through something extraordinary. 3 years ago we were playing Boreham Wood on wet Tuesday nights. Now we are hosting Leicester City at the Racecourse. Hollywood stars in the director's box. A documentary showing our story to millions. But with that comes pressure. The weight of knowing every moment matters more than ever. That silence in the dressing room, that was lads who know they're good enough to compete, but can't afford mistakes. Parkinson's right. Sometimes you don't get what you deserve. But over 46 games, class rises to the top. And Wrexham have got class, quality, belief. Monday night hurt, but this club has been through worse, and we always come back stronger. From Hollywood to the Racecourse, this is our story, and it's far from over. Let me know in the comments, was that a game we should have won? Hit like if you're back in Wrexham for the playoffs, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Reds!